Much like the reader analysis, I'm going to be talking about the context analysis. This is the status of the events surrounding the document. And again, I'm going to be using the Roger Boisjoly memo. This is the grid that we're going to be using for our context analysis for the rest of this term. What you will notice, first of all, is that we only focus on the primary readers here, the reader's company and the reader's industry, but all of them are solely on the primary reader. However, we also focus on the physical context, economic, political, and ethical context. Like I did with the reader analysis, I'm going to be going down these categories so that you'll be able to get a clearer picture of how they interact with each other. The first thing we need to do is identify the three contexts. The first is the reader. So the primary reader is R.K. Lund, Vice President of Engineering. The reader's company is Morton Thiokol, the Wasatch Division in Utah. And the industry is Chemical Engineering and Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Now the physical context is quite different for each of these categories. First of all, the vice president works in an office. He manages more than one engineering team. He's more of a supervisor that other people answer to. Now the company, Morton Thiokol, is actually a merger between two engineering firms. One was a chemical engineering firm and the other was a jet propulsion laboratory. So Morton Thiokol itself has kind of this dual personality. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is the half of Morton Thiokol that the Wasatch Division is, has manufacturing plants and a variety of labs to conduct research in. Next is the economic context. Well, the vice president wants to maximize profits for the company, which will in turn reward him, probably with a nice bonus. Morton Thiokol wants to build its reputation so it can continue to maximize its profits. We start seeing a monetary theme here. Third, Chemical Engineering and Jet Propulsion Laboratory continues to develop the field of aeronautics as a growing high-tech industry. So this is an expansion industry. At this point in time, the memo was written, this industry itself had a very bright future. Now with the political context, we're starting to see some interesting dynamics. To begin with, R.K. Lund, the vice president, he's more of a communications liaison. He has to communicate with the NASA officials, reassure them that projects are on track. He also has to be able to understand and relay reports from the engineering team and answer to his higher ups, who ultimately answer to their stockholders. Morton Thiokol wants the company to continue receiving government contracts. So they're very much in keeping their profile raised and keeping it in a high profile status so that they can brag to the government of look at all we've done. Finally, the chemical engineering and jet propulsion industry focuses on growing ease with which man is going to space. So they are actually facilitating a lot of travel and a lot of exploration because the industry itself sees a future here. The ethical context is really paramount and center of this memo and what happened in the aftermath. In fact, Roger Boisjoly spent the rest of his life talking about engineering and science ethics with students and colleagues over the next 30 years of his life. So this is really a key component. First of all, the vice president has to decide what, when, and how to tell clients about problems with their project. He's really a key person as a communications facilitator. How does he tell higher ups that there's a problem? How does he convince them to convey that to a client? Morton Thiokol raises questions about whether the company's products are safe. Do they do that, or do they kind of gloss over any concerns? We've all seen issues with companies who are unethical, including something like a car company that's failing to institute a recall that really needs to be done. Morton Thiokol was in a similar position here. Finally, the chemical engineering and jet propulsion industry has to ask, what are reasonable risks and who makes those decisions? So the ethical consideration here is really one of identifying who's responsible for what happens and what the outcomes are. Again, this is what the completed grid looks like. It's similar to what you'll be doing on some future assignments, including one assignment this week. So go ahead and pause the video and then take a really good look at it.